Yo, what's going on, guys? KrispyFlakes here. For today's video, we are going to be doing another NBA tier list ranking thing right here, man. So basically what I'm going to do is I am going to be ranking every single NBA team on which ones I think is the best, post free agency, because we're towards pretty much the end of it, guys. So yeah, now keep in mind, I am making this video on 7/11/2019. So anything that happened is up to that point. If Russell Westbrook's gotten traded since then, or Kevin Love or somebody like that, that is not going to be reflected in this video. So yes, before we get going on this, if you guys can please do me a quick favor and please drop a like on this video. It is very important you guys drop a like on this one, just because often with these type of videos, man, you get a lot of haters out there. They get very salty and dislike the video for no reason, man. That was probably like my biggest pet peeves of the overrated underrated video. Like, for one, like if you go out there and just insult somebody because of their opinion, that is a sign of low IQ. So I don't know, like I'm all for people disagreeing with me, but there's no reason to go out there and call somebody a name because of it. It's just pointless, man. Like, come on, we're all better people in that. And two, if you do disagree with me, don't just post something like, no, man, the Pacers are better than what you said. Like, okay, I understand that you might feel that way, and that's completely fine. I respect everybody's opinion. But give me an explanation, man, so I can actually see why you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was just kind of getting to me, bro, on the overrated, underrated video. Just a lot of people are just getting upset about stuff where it's like, come on, man, it's basketball. So, here we go, guys. Here we go. So, S tier, obviously, is going to be, like, the superior teams. That is the teams that I really do see, like, as the absolute favorites for the NBA champion. Like this is the team that's like, oh my god, like I think they are probably going to win it. A tier is going to be like, okay, they are pretty damn close. I could see them getting to the finals. I could see them potentially winning it, but man, they might be a piece or two away. So B tier is going to be like, all right, that's a solid basketball team, man. Like that is a solid basketball team, and they'll be a playoff team, everything like that. C tier is going to be like borderline playoff team, where it's like, okay, they might sneak into the 8th spot, maybe not. But the D tier, of course, is going to be, some of the worst teams in the entire NBA, right? So here we go, man. Philadelphia 76ers. I have them as an A tier team. Now, I do actually have them as a team that could potentially begin to the finals, but the reason I have them as A tier right now is because, of course, man, we're going to beat the dead horse of this one out there. Ben Simmons' jump shot could still definitely be a concern for the squad out there. I love the Al Horford signing. Now, he is going to be playing at the power forward position for like the first time in a very long time, so we don't really know how that is going to affect and really mesh with his skill set out there. So that is, a little concern out there. Of course, health, things out there with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons will always be talked about. Josh Richardson, I do like his game a lot. I do think he's going to be a very solid 2 out there, but regardless, this team did lose some offense out there with JJ Redick, some 3-point consistency, and some of the great things that Jimmy Butler did for the squad. So A tier, man, but, they're borderline S tier in my opinion. Washington Wizards, they are a D tier team. I love Bradley Beal. I don't expect him to be on the team by the end of the season. I do expect him to get traded by the trade deadline. And beyond that, some of the worst contracts in the NBA. Not really like any super bright future outside of Bradley Beal, although we already know what he is. And of course, Rui Hachimura, depending on what he can become. But he'll have a lot of opportunities out there at least, so that's good. That's definitely a good thing out there. The Atlanta Hawks. I have them as a C tier team, and the reason I say that is because I do think the next step for this team is to be a playoff team. I don't really expect them to go out there and be like a top 4 or 5 seed, but I do have them kind of being like a team that, could potentially, if they make a nice little run with Trae Young and all the guys mesh together, they could potentially get that 8th spot out there in the Eastern Conference. And then, of course, right now, of course, after that, they move to the B tier, A tier, S tier eventually. I do think they end up getting to the S tier, within the next 5 years or so. Cleveland Cavaliers, they are a D tier team. Now, I like a few other things about the squad. I like Colin Sexton. I do think he becomes a good scorer here in the NBA. Darius Garland, I mean, he could potentially be the best point guard from this draft class. I know there's John Morant and guys, Kobe White and guys like that, but Darius Garland, definitely don't sleep on him. Kevin Love's contract's kind of hindering. This team has a ton of centers out there, just kind of mediocre players. So I do like Dylan Windler. I feel like he'll be something out there, but as of right now, they are a D tier team. Detroit Pistons, they are also listed as a C tier team. So once again, I do have this as a team that could potentially get to the playoffs, or they very well could miss it. I mean, they got his 8th seed last year. And of course, they ended up getting swept by the Bucks. Really, the only thing that keeps them from being a D tier team is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is one of the best power forwards in the entire NBA. He had a career year last season. So yeah, I'm being completely unbiased. I don't really expect the Pistons to do much next year. I do think Derrick Rose will be a nice little addition, will be a fun addition. Now, if they get a guy like a Russell Westbrook, then you're talking more like B tier. But for now, based off their current roster, I mean, yeah, they added a few little pieces out there, but nothing too major. in the end of the day, the core of their team is still Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, and Reggie Jackson. I mean, Luke Kennard, I think, takes a step this season. Don Boya, he's probably not quite ready to contribute all that much yet, but we'll see what happens, right? The Indiana Pacers, I have them as a B-tier team. I do expect them to be like in the middle of the road of the Eastern Conference playoff pack. Now, they could potentially move up to an A, but I got to see how Oladipo returns from injury. Of course, they also got Brogdon. I got to see how he plays in the backcourt with Victor Oladipo. TJ Warren's a new addition. Of course, they lost their starting point guard, Derek Collison. They lost one of their leading scorers last year in Bojan Bogdanovic. So, those are guys that are important chemistry-wise to this team. That's kind of how this team thrived last season, was based off chemistry, also losing Thaddeus Young. So, yeah, man, lost 3 starters. So, for now, I got them as a B-tier team. Milwaukee Bucks. I was debating about the Milwaukee Bucks. My first initial thought was S tier, but I do think, for now, I have them as an A tier team. They very well could prove me wrong. And that's the thing about the Bucks. I very well could see Giannis carrying this team to an NBA Finals and winning it. I could see that happening. But do I expect it? No, I do not. I do expect them to be in the running for it. I do expect them, be a team that could potentially get to the Eastern Conference Finals again or whatever. But, I mean, in the end of the day, they lost Brogdon. I thought he was a very important piece to that team. Chris Middleton is now on a max contract, so that kind of hinders some of the other things you're going to do out there as far as filling out all their players. Eric Bledsoe's a year older. So, yeah, man, I'll say A tier feels about right. The Toronto Raptors. This one's interesting, man. This one's very interesting. Because last year they were obviously an S tier. They don't fall all the way down to D tier, but I think losing Kawhi is a big-time effect where I probably have them as a C tier team now. I mean, yes, I could see them making the playoffs. I mean, Pascal Siakam was the most improved player. You still have Kyle Lowry, who's always a consistent scorer and playmaker in the NBA. Marc Gasol, with Kawhi leaving, that is going to open up more shots from some of those other guys out there. OG Anunoby, he's going to be back and completely healthy. Stanley Johnson, man, Stanley Johnson, yeah, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, man. As C tier, I think feels about right for the Toronto Raptors. I think they make a run at the playoffs, but I don't expect them to be a top-notch seed. Dallas Mavericks. Ooh. They made some nice improvements this season here, bro. This is a tough one. Because, I kind of feel B tier, but I think the Western Conference is so strong, I have them more C tier. And that's just because they're unproven as of right now, man. They are unproven as of right now. But it's like that beginning kind of C tier where they're borderline B. Luka Doncic, though, second year in the NBA, he's going to continue to improve, become an all-star, all good things like that. I do have to see how Kristaps Porzingis comes back and healthy, and if he's, good to go. I think they signed Seth Curry, right? So he'll be a decent addition out there. Tim Hardaway, still a bit overpaid, but a fine enough player. I would have liked to see them get one more free agent. I would have liked to see them get one more free agent out there, but of course, they could still do that by the end of free agency, but I want to see one more move by the Dallas Mavericks to really solidify them as a potential B-tier team. Would love to see them get a Kemba Walker and Mike Conley, but of course, that did not happen. Okay. Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets. Let me come back to that team there, guys. Memphis Grizzlies. They are a D-tier team. I do not expect them to make the playoffs. Now, I love what they're doing out there. They are currently a D-tier team, but they got B-tier, maybe potentially A-tier potential in the future. They're doing all the right things out there for a team that is rebuilding, but the fact of the matter is they are rebuilding. So, yeah, they're right there. Minnesota Timberwolves, they are a C-tier team. Once again, a team that could make the playoffs. I mean, I think Jarrett Culver, hopefully he has a nice little rookie season for them out there. Andrew Wiggins, hopefully he figures things out. Of course, you got Karl Anthony Towns, who's one of the best centers in the NBA. So, yeah, C tier, but I don't ever really expect them to be middle of the road of the playoffs. San Antonio Spurs. This is solely based off of respect for Greg Popovich. I'm going to put him as a B tier team. I feel like when you are playing for Greg Popovich, your team always has a chance to be middle of the road for the playoffs. I think they always have a team that does better than what we actually expected them to do. Because that's the big thing about the Spurs, that their window's always closing, man. Their window's always closing. Then they go out there, they shock people pretty much, man. Utah Jazz. I have them as an A-tier team. That is a team that I could potentially see getting to the Western Conference Finals. Whoever they play in the Western Conference, I don't really expect them to beat them. But this team, they could surprise you, though. I think the Utah Jazz, they made a ton of big-time moves. Again, Bojan out there. Of course, again, Mike Conley was huge. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, they're going to be a year more mature, so it's going to be great for them. Clippers, that's an S-tier team. You got Kawhi Leonard, you got Paul George. Added on to a team that without those 2 star players was able to beat Golden State and make the 8th seed last season, off strictly just hustle and grind. That is an S-tier team. That is an S-tier team. Phoenix Suns. You know what, man? My first initial thought was to put them at D tier. But I think, this is just kind of going off my gut feeling, I think this year they are a C tier team. I think this year is the year that they make a run for the 8th spot in the Western Conference. I could definitely see them being out there doing that, man. Devin Booker's a year better. Ayton, I think, was great last year as a rookie. Of course, you get Ricky Rubio, so you finally have at least a serviceable point guard out there. I have them as a C tier, man. I don't think they're D tier anymore. Portland Trailblazers. That is an A tier team. I was kind of debating on B tier, but I love the signing of Hassan Whiteside. I think he comes in motivated. Damian Lillard is always going to be one of the best point guards out there. CJ McCollum's always a great shooting guard. So I love the additions of Kent Bazemore. I thought that was great. Of course, getting Nurkic back will help this team out tremendously. And Rodney Hood is a 6'8" guy that can shoot the 3 ball. So that's always great, man. Sacramento Kings, I have them as a B tier team. They are a team that I think could be like a 5th seed in the Western Conference if everything comes together nicely. That's like best case scenario. They are like B tier, borderline C tier, like borderline just making the playoffs. But I see them getting like maybe like the 7th, like the 5th being best, like 7th seed, worst case scenario. New York Knicks, D tier. Not much more to be said about them, guys. I mean, they took big L's in free agency. Yes, they got Julius Randle. They got a ton of forwards, actually. Got a ton of free agents. But not the guys they were really hoping for. Pelicans. C tier team. Now, it's a loose C tier because I don't really think I expect the Pelicans to actually make the playoffs this season. They're going to be an extremely fun team to watch. Like, Zion's going to be fantastic. Of course, you got Brandon Ingram out there. I mean, they could sneak in that 8th spot though. But I could see the Pelicans, just like chemistry reasons, just being extremely young for them. Although you got JJ Redick, man, he always makes the playoffs. You got Drew Holiday, so they're a tough team to kind of rank. But I think for right now, I got them as a C. Charlotte Hornets is D tier. Very well could be the worst team in the NBA. Now, with that being said, they got a few decent, highlights out there. You got Miles Bridges, of course. Malik Monk, I still think could be a great shooting guard in the NBA. Terry Rozier, maybe he just freaking goes Kemba Walker mode and becomes amazing, right? Houston Rockets, I have them listed as an S tier team. Like, I know they haven't made any sexy moves at all this offseason yet, but you still have James Harden. The Golden State Warriors are no longer going to be as big of an issue for that team out there. So James Harden by himself, man, can carry this team to the damn finals. I really do think that. Of course, Chris Paul, I know his contract's ridiculous. I know we all hate on him for that. But regardless, he'll still be okay out there. Clint Capela's fine. We know what the Houston Rockets is. And that's why it's easy to list them as a superior team. Because I really do think that this is a team that now with the Golden State Warriors being weaker could get to the finals. Now, with that being said, you still have to get past the Clippers and the Lakers. So it's S tier, but it's right there, man. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Miami Heat, I have them as a B tier team. They are one piece away from being an A tier, but Jimmy Butler's great. I think people are, and that's something I gotta say real quick, man. In my overrated, underrated video, you gotta realize overrated does not mean you're a bad player. It just means that based off where people put you on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I have them as a B tier team. I do think they fight for a playoff spot, obviously. I do think they make the playoffs, I should say. They're not really fighting for a playoff spot. Probably a 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Denver Nuggets. I really like some of the moves they made here this summer, man. I really do. I think Michael Porter Jr. could really get them to the next level. I thought Jeremy Grant was a great pickup. Because initially I was saying, okay, here we go. I guess this is what I gotta say, man. Would I overwhelmingly take any of these teams over the Denver Nuggets? No, I would not. Not overwhelmingly. But are they good enough to be S tier? I don't think they're quite S tier. I kind of put them in the same row as the 76ers and the Bucks and teams that definitely could get to the finals and make that run, but not my absolute favorite to win it. So I think A tier probably feels about right. Chicago Bulls. I think they're a C tier team now, man. Last year I would have said D tier. I love Kobe White. I think Thaddeus Young was a nice little pickup right there. Nice veteran player that will help out there with consistency. Lauri Markkanen's great. Zach LaVine's a nice scorer. You got Otto Porter. They're a C tier team. Brooklyn Nets. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is without Kevin Durant. This is without Kevin Durant. They are a B tier team. They're once again a team that I expect to be middle of the road without Kevin Durant. I do think that Kyrie is leading a group of guys that are not quite as good as the Boston Celtics team that was around him. But regardless, they're still going to be a nice team. You got Joe Harris, great three-point shooter. You got Karis LeVert. Of course, you got DeAndre Jordan. Now, once Kevin Durant's back, you're talking like S tier for this team. But for now, I think they're a B tier. OKC Thunder with Russell Westbrook. Losing Paul George. Still a B tier team. Russell Westbrook is good enough to get you to the playoffs. And not just borderline. Like, they will be in the playoffs probably as like a 6 or 7 seed. Golden State Warriors, you still got Curry, you got D'Lo now, you got Draymond. Klay Thompson going to be out, so we got to keep that into effect. I do expect the Golden State Warriors to fall off a little bit just because of losing, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson for the season. You don't just lose those guys and bounce back, man. And Iguodala and Shaun Livingston, like, that does take a little hit to your team. To me, they are a B tier team as of right now, man. Borderline A tier, though. Borderline A tier. That's only because of the injury of Klay Thompson. If Klay Thompson's there, they're instantly A tier. Instantly, man. So if he comes back, just consider them moved up. Boston Celtics, I have them as an A tier team. I think Kemba Walker replacing Kyrie Irving is great. Now, losing Al Horford and replacing with Enes Kanter, defensively, you're going to take a hit. But you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Those guys are just poised to make a big-time jump. I think they do that, and they're an A tier team. Lakers, to me, S tier. LeBron, Anthony Davis, 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA. Bam. Good to go. No more to be said. And then, of course, Orlando Magic. They are a C tier team. You got Vucevic. You got Aaron Gordon. Who knows what Markelle Fultz does? Evan Fournier is always a solid scorer. Jonathan Isaac, I think, could actually be a candidate for most improved player. They could definitely make that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference, or around there, man. So I think overall my list is pretty good. I think it's good. You guys might disagree. And if you do disagree, just keep in mind, man, that it's just my opinion. Does not mean it right. It's not the all being said right there. So yeah, give me your thoughts about my list. Give me your tier list if you want to in the comment section below. And peace out, my friends.